It was an unbelievable start to my career. I suppose it was a dream start.
Just sensational. The Swannies have won the 2012 AFL Grand Final in the most unbelievable circumstance you'll ever see.
Winning the grand final at the age of 20 in 2012 was unbelievable, and you probably don't stop and appreciate it for what it is. You know, I was a young kid thinking, you know, I'm going to go on and play 300 games and win a few more flags, and it's going to be, you know, exactly the career that I'd sort of planned out for myself. I was sort of a kid in a bit of a rush to get to, you know, the next level. I wanted to play, you know, 100 games as quick as I could and really get comfortable at the level. You sort of don't know what you've got until it's gone, I suppose, and you know, that's what I learned in the years after. It's obviously, you know, pretty flattening. I guess I've had a pretty good pre-season, and yeah, to come to sort of 2 weeks out from round one to do my ACL is really disappointing for me, and you know, I think the coach is a bit disappointed too. So yeah, it's disappointment all around, I guess. I was probably naive to what I was about to face. I'd seen guys, you know, Nick Malcheski had done a knee before, Reece Shaw, so really close mates of mine had done them before, so I started speaking to them about what it actually looked like. I'd just turned 21 the week before that, so I sort of thought, yeah, if I have 12 months out, it might not be that bad. I could sort of not get battered and bruised for 12 months, put on a bit more size, and then come back as the key defender I wanted to grow into as a player. It was a serious journey to get there. You know, it was 2,136 days between the 2012 grand final and then that game. It was just amazing, really, the way it panned out. We won by 2 points. I felt good out there. I thought I held my own. And being a footballer again, I think that sense of normality is just huge, really. Obviously, the week later, to go back to the MCG, you know, the first time I'd obviously played there since the grand final, 21 minutes into the first quarter, I was meant to go off. I was absolutely cooked, and just the ball sort of went out in front of Jesse Hogan, and I stepped and did my good knee, which I'd never had an issue with. You know, I'd always had a bad knee. It had always been the left knee that I'd had issues with, and the right had been the one that had sort of got me through everything. And for that to sort of fail on me was absolutely devastating. It's definitely a roller coaster of emotions, that sort of 8-day period or 10-day period, I suppose, to finding out I was playing against Collingwood, to the unbelievable winning, and you know, the celebrations after with my teammates and friends and family, and then you know, 8 days later to go down and suffer yet another setback was, it was extremely hard to deal with. Three or 4 months into my first rehab, I just removed myself, really, and probably isolated myself, which at the time I thought was the best thing to do. You've obviously got your teammates and other mates around, but you're the only one going through it. It's hard for a lot of guys to comprehend and actually understand and sort of empathise with what you're going through when they've actually got no idea. Probably for a long time, that sort of 6-year period, I went through those injuries, and then the adverse effects of getting delisted and career over, you know, turned into probably a 7 or 8 year period. You bottle a lot of stuff up, and then, you know, it has to explode at some point, whatever that looks like. If that's a, you know, fight with a mate or a partner or a family member or whatever it is, you know, I've got to find ways to diffuse those situations, and I think the conversation's the biggest one, to be able to talk to people about what is actually going on and how different things make you feel. Last year was a time that it probably floored me a little bit, and I sought help to figure out why I felt the way I did about certain things, and learn to become content with what's actually happened, and you know, take the positives out of what I've learnt, and you know, change my behaviour a little bit. You know, I used what I was going through a lot just to be selfish, and you burn relationships, you know, with partners, with friends, and everything. You sort of just you do whatever you want just because of. Go back to that sort of impulse thing as a young guy. You just think, oh, I'll just do whatever I want, what makes me feel good for 5 minutes. But the adverse effects of that on not only yourself but everyone around you is massive, and I think I've learned that now. And you know, although it's an ongoing thing, you know, it's about that management, and you know, you can compare it to, you know, what I do with my knees. I suppose I've got to manage them for the rest of my life, and I think the mental health side of things as well is the same. You know, I've got to stay on top of that, and you know, be able to manage that and put those strategies in place to be able to deal with them. I think the role that a coach plays is massive, really, especially at that, you know, that community level. You're seeing the players, you know, probably 6, 7, 8 hours a week, really, and then a game as well. So you know the players, you know how players, what their personalities are like, how they react to certain things. You know, the coach is having hard conversations all the time in terms of having to drop players, or, you know, tell players that they need to pull their head in, or whatever it may be. So to just add that string to their bow where they can actually say, you know, how are you going? You know, it can change relationships with people, really. It opens that trust up, and, you know, really helps people to strengthen what bond they have. And the reality is that the person asking it is probably going through something as well. So if you can open that dialogue to each other, it makes a massive difference.